International Women's Day is celebrated every year on 8th March to reflect on the gains we have made on women's rights around the globe. This year's theme, Break the Bias, seeks to eliminate all barriers that prevent women from the full enjoyment of their rights, including discriminatory cultural practices, laws, and duty bearers. It is indeed time to break the barriers in all societal spaces. We shall also be focusing on women who have broken the barriers in their various capacities to stand up against the face of violations and take steps to claim their rights.
We were 3 girls following, and at that point it was like, you don't even have a child. We were regarded like no children because we could hear them tell mom, how can you even own land, you don't have a son? I know of some families that were chased away from their home because the woman only gave birth to girls.
I'm the first female lady to be a chief in Kogon sublocation itself. So there was a lot of resistance, there was a lot of struggle here, and at one point the community were like, they cannot be led by a woman.
When my husband passed on, and now that I was married in Suba, there are certain cultural rights that I was supposed to go through as a woman. So if I went to a household where there's a man, I sit on the floor. Why? I have not been inherited and my husband passed on.
I would say I grew up knowing that women can never own land, can never own any property.
Patriarchy is a major challenge because patriarchy suits a certain gender. So the status quo then ensures that you'll protect your status and you'll protect your privileges.
Women owning land is not common or fully accepted in many communities in Kenya. This contributes to the practice of disinheriting wives and widows, leaving families devastated when husbands and fathers die.
Because many of these rights issues, some of them are undercover, some of them are the normal norms. So people don't see them like a problem, but they really affect women and girls.
So the violations which we see start from right from where we work with children in schools, where there's discrimination of who is a monitor, who is a prefect in terms of leadership. You tend to find that girls were usually made monitors during our time. So, and then boys were made to be prefects. So it meant that the issues of leadership of women and girls is instilled right from that particular stage.
There are some that were also culturally perpetrated. Like for example, you'll find that if I'm staying with my in-law that is married to my sister, and then my sister happens to pass on, then it is the tradition that I then step into the house of my sister, get married to the husband so that I take care of the children. And sometimes you find that the girls that were going through these were very young. Some were hardly 18, some were even as young as 15, and they end up marrying men that are older than them, men that sometimes are even HIV positive, and I felt that no, something is not right. Then the way women were perceived also got my attention because I'm a Luo married in Suba. So when I came to Suba, I got a totally different culture where the woman mostly was to be seen and not to be heard. And you know, beating up a woman was almost normal.
The women are not always ready to report the matter to the police because we believe, or our culture believes, that you cannot report your husband when he beats you.
We see more reporting in urban areas, but less reporting in rural communities because also some of the challenges we have in rural communities are the structures or even the supportive systems which then ensure that these reports can also be done.
Women in Kenya contribute to over 80% of labor force and productivity. Women are providers of food, clean water, and fuel. Women are caregivers. Despite this reality, women own less than 2% of land, whereas 5% of land titles are held jointly with men. Further, women's livelihoods are threatened by the extractive industry, placing a bigger burden in carrying out their gendered role. Cultural practices that discriminate against women owning land and natural resources for their benefit are continually propagated by ignoring and excluding their rights in political conversations.
I've grown up seeing women suffer. I was brought up by a single mom, and that brings out what we went through, being brought up by a single mom.
Part of what we have to tell women is that understand what the culture was meant to be, and do not diminish the stature of that particular household because that was the lineage which was left for your children.
Even if you look at the original culture, a lot has been changed. It is just greed and being insensitive, where a clique of men think that they can now control the woman just because dowry was paid over her and have their way.
The elephant that we are dealing with is the gender boxes. The things that we grew up knowing, but we don't even understand where they came from, but we are following them.
It is the perceived enclosure in which you have to conform to culture.
For girls, you are socialized to believe that you're supposed to be good so that you can make a good wife, for example. So what do good women do? So those are part of it, is that you will sit in those spaces whether you are being violated because society expects you to be good and to be in this nice relationship for you to be a good woman.
On this International Women's Day, we as Kelin are proud to share the progress we have made over the years in breaking societal barriers and highlighting the key successes to the journey to societal change.
When I met Kelin, trust me, I felt I was late to meet them. It was like, have you ever met someone and you're like, I wish I met you 10 years. They've changed my life. The knowledge I've gotten from Kelin has put me at a different level, because it has helped me to understand that even some of the beliefs that we believe in, trust me, some of them are not true. Some of them are just there to hurt you, not to make you any better. But again, we are not conflicting what people believe in, but we are trying to put reality and facts on the table.
It is through Kelin that I felt empowered enough to fight my battle. And as you can see, there's nowhere that I've mentioned that they came in to arbitrate on my behalf. I did it on my own, but through the empowerment that I got from them. Why? When I went to that training, I found that it was possible. So I started from there. So that is the greatest impact, that they changed my life. They changed me from that crying Caroline to that Caroline that is now a warrior.
At times I always say that I'm a lucky chief to engage with Kelin, because anytime I want to solve a case, whatever I've captured from Kelin strings in my mind, and it gives me an easy time to solve a problem.
Actually, Kelin has made me to walk like an armed soldier. I now walk here very bravely. I'm not afraid because I have Silaha with me.
One thing that was very clear, most women thought for you to own land, you have to go to the police, you have to fight, you have to create a scene. I realized the box I was in, the women were right in the box. Like, the beliefs were so deeply entrenched that they were not seeing any way. There was no open door. There was no window for even to whisper that women could own land.
We have seen women stand up and fight against property rights violations. We have seen women chiefs engendering the local administration systems to see to it that the utmost access to property rights of women are accessible, and we have also seen men, including religious leaders and elders, join the movement to promote land tenure rights. Our results over the years include successfully resolving over 700 cases via mediations, supporting 63 women to conduct succession for the past year, building partnerships with elders and chiefs in Kisumu and Homa Bay to facilitate fair mediation for women. Succession steps in partnership with judiciary that is used as family law learning material at the Kenya School of Law. supporting over 80 women to establish support groups for purposes of engaging in economic development. Convening the first East African Lake Region Economic Bloc Conference on Natural Resource Rights in partnership with the National Land Commission to facilitate claiming and responding to violations. Developing and implementing a regional curriculum on social norms to demystify the cultures that negatively impact on women land tenure. Supporting 43 women to obtain title deeds. Playing a pivotal role in the development of the alternative justice systems policy, bringing in the traditional justice system angle. As Killeen, we continue to offer leadership and support in women, land and property rights because we maintain that women's rights are human rights. Women's land ownership should be actualized. Laws should be operationalized to enhance access to land rights for women. Social norms that are discriminative against women are null and void. Both men and women have equal rights to own property, either individually or in association with others. Let us bridge the gap between policy and practice when it comes to land rights. Let us break the bias.